How are we doing today, guys? Adam and Ryan back here for another fishing report this week. I want to start off just a couple things really quick. First, I want everyone to congratulate Ryan over here. He just became a master angler with the DNR program.
Thank you.
So let's give him a nice round of applause there.
Thank you.
I also want to remind you guys to sign up for the White Perch Open. That's going to be this Sunday, July 27th. Sign-ups are up on our website. We also have our fish fry face-off eating competition. So go ahead, sign up for that and see if you can beat me.
We have our defending champ here.
See if you can beat me out there. But yeah, let's get right into this fishing report.
Yeah, what's been hot and heavy here lately?
So the rockfish being closed down, people wanted to get a little bit of meat on the table. Crabbing has been huge. A lot of people are running trout lines. We got them all set up for you here with the snoods and everything. So come in and pick these up. If you don't want to do trout line, you go with hand line as well. We also got pole traps. Now some hot areas in the upper Middle Bay area. The McAfee's been really good. Severn's been good as well. A little further down, the Chop Tank and the South Rivers have been good. I'm hearing some things about the Chester as well.
Yeah.
So get out there and catch some crabs. What have you been doing fishing-wise, Ryan?
Been mostly fishing offshore, so kind of directly opposite from crabbing. There has been a couple wahoo around. We just got a big one the other weekend. As far as targeting them, you want to be in the canyons, in blue water, 80 plus degrees preferably, but dragging these nomad lures around, the Mad Max and the DTX Minnow, this phantom color has been really hot for us. Trolling around 8 to 12 knots is preferred. You can go even faster with these Mad Max, but yeah, find blue water in the canyons, troll around pretty fast, run a couple of these nomads, and you might find a wahoo or two.
Cool. What else is going on out there in the ocean?
With the tuna bite slowing down, a lot of people are tile fishing, and tile fishing, as fun as tuna fishing is, tile fishing can be fun too, especially when you're getting them on these jigs. Blue line tile are more popular on jigs. You can use lighter jigs like this 200 gram versus like your 600 and 700 gram for the golden tiles. But these nomad streakers work really well. You're dropping them down in about 300 to 400 feet of water. Again, in the canyons, but you want to be on the shallower side of the canyon. So you want to find a nice flat that's, like I said, 300 to 400 feet, and you'll mark them on your bottom finder, and then you can drop jigs down and catch them up that way. Talking more inshore, we're talking flounder, sea bass, stuff like that. We have these doormat fluke rigs. These can be used on any of the wrecks out there. You know, Jack Spot Reef has been really hot. Great Eastern Reef, African Queen. Again, a little bit off the structure for the flounder, and then pretty much directly on the structure for the sea bass. And then you could use something like this, a little bit smaller, 120 to 150 gram jig for those sea bass, and that's a lot of fun too. Going back into the bay, bluefish has been really hot in the Middle Bay.
Yeah. We were actually out there a couple days ago. Anywhere from like Solomon's all the way south to that Virginia line, there's been bluefish blowing up everywhere, lots of bird balls. You want to make sure when you're fishing for bluefish that you've got a real heavy leader. We do make these bite leaders now. They come in 3 packs. So if you want to come and pick those up so you're not getting bit off and having to retie all the time. And then a good thing to throw is going to be these gotcha metal jigs. Basically, those bluefish out there, they're feeding on little silver sides, bay anchovies. That matches the profile perfectly. And like I said, find the channel edges from like Solomon's, south. It's going to take some looking to find those schools, but they're out there.
Yeah, typically it's been an afternoon bite when that sun is high and those bait are fishing, or those fish are pushing bait balls up to the surface. You can look for birds. That's a dead giveaway. When we were out, I mean, they were just absolutely boiling. That's like a perfect situation. It may not happen every day, but look for birds. Those birds are going to know where those bait balls are, and sometimes even before they even pop up, those birds are hanging around, and you can mark them on your screen. And then just drop those jigs down below those bait balls to catch some bluefish.
Yep. And then on a little bit inshore of the bay side of things, if you don't have the capability or you don't want to run out into the open bay to chase after those bluefish, rockfish is closed right now, obviously. But down in that southern zone and a little bit up in the middle bay zone, I mean,
towards the Chop Tank.
Yeah, like probably Chop Tank and south. There's been a pretty good speckled trout bite. There's a lot of them out there. They taste really good. They're fun fish to catch, really cool looking.
Yeah.
And they'll eat sort of the same stuff that your rockfish will. Sometimes you might want to downsize the profile if they're really feeding and keyed in on those bay anchovies
silver
and
sides and
silver
bay
sides
anchovies.
as opposed to bunker. But we were catching a bunch on these live op swim baits right here, and a thin wire hook. A lot of people don't really think about that when you're fishing the bay, but these trout have really soft mouths, especially if you don't have a net, you're fishing from a kayak, whatever. Those thin wire hooks, they're gonna get pulled out of those soft mouths a little less than some of your thicker gauge stuff that's gonna tear a big hole.
Yeah, and then another thing about those thin wire hooks, you're fishing for specks around a lot of structure. Rocks, docks, submerged debris. These thin wire hooks are always nice, especially in a big pack like this, because once you get snagged, you can typically bend them out and pull them off of that structure rather than losing your plastic and your jig head. And typically you can just take a pair of pliers and bend that thin wire right on back and keep catching fish.
Yep. And another option, if you're not getting bit on that stuff, popping cork here. We call this our Redfish popping cork. It's got a popping cork, obviously, with a little Z-Man minnows behind it. The Specs will clobber that too. When rockfish opens back up, they will clobber that. Usually your lower light situations are gonna do better for the popping cork, or just after top water shut off, you're getting into a little bit of late morning period. But cast that at shallow water structure, wait for that thing to dunk down, and set the hook.
Yeah, definitely. And then on the freshwater side, we're gonna talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
Bass and snakehead.
Yeah, before we get there, actually, I do want to talk about redfish and cobia. There's been a fair amount of them moving their way up the bay. They're not just kind of stuck down in Virginia waters right now. People are finding them in the area vicinity of the target ships. I know when we were out there, we saw big old sea turtle, which is a sign that the cobia might be up here. Yeah. I know people are catching them here and there. It's definitely a hit or miss bite, but look around the target ships. Same thing with the redfish. If you have side scan on your boat, run around that area and look for them. You also might find those redfish underneath of some bluefish. And if you do, throw one of these big NOBN K-tails at them. This is a nice profile of a small bluefish. And if those bull reds are chomping up the bluefish that are pushing up the bay anchovies, nice little food chain right there, throw this on a heavier jig head, let it sink below the blues, and who knows, you might get a trophy red.
Yeah, and if you want to keep that on the surface, if you're looking for cobia, one of these 10-aught, you can either run them weight or weightless, with weight or weightless. Putting that right in front of a cobia's face, this combo right here, that K-tail is going to just very slightly move. Once you twitch that rod, it's going to dart back and forth, and that's going to drive those cobia wild on the surface.
Yep. And then last couple things in the bay, we've got white perch. Things are starting to pick up. We're still seeing kind of a slow bite and getting a little bit of mixed reports of hit or misses with white perch.
Yeah.
But if you're looking to throw something a little different at them besides your sabiki rig, your perch hounder, stuff like that, little mini, well, it's not a rattle trap, it's a Yozuri rattle vibe. It's just a lipless crankbait, but it looks like a tiny little bunker or a tiny little spot or something like that. Makes a whole lot of vibration. This one actually glows. This is the, the glow color. And so in your muddier water situation, especially with all the rain we've been having, that'll be a really good option for you.
Yeah.
And then catfish, again, looking to put some meat on the table with rockfish being closed. Catfish are around pretty much in all your rivers.
Yeah, definitely.
I've heard good reports of the Patuxent, good reports of the Potomac. On the east side, I've heard some catfish in the chop tank past Cambridge, so you want to go up the river a little bit.
Yeah.
A lot of channel cats out there too, which will go crazy for these men-hated stinky balls. It's just another option for you if you're tired of dealing with fresh bait. This is a nice little artificial option for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then on the freshwater side of things, bass fishing can be slow this time of year. If you're hitting them on a cooler day, cloudy day, rainy day, that's going to be your best bet. But overall, no matter when you're fishing for them, a slower presentation is going to work good. I really like a finesse jig this time of year in any of your ponds and lakes. Waterworks Park in Annapolis holds a lot of bass, and these finesse jigs drag well on the bottom. You can put one of these Kitech spiders on the back, give it a little kick in action like a craw. But really any of your ponds and lakes. But if you want to go for smallmouth, which in my opinion are more fun, you can go to the upper reaches of some of our rivers like the Susquehanna, the Potomac. Those are really great rivers to target them. On the Potomac, there's a bunch of lock houses where you can park and just walk right down to the river. It's hot out there, so it's a nice time of the year to wade. Just be really careful with those currents and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely.
The last thing we'll talk about is snakehead. There's still a couple fish on fry balls, but they're starting to move off, starting to push back into those grasses a little bit. So you're gonna want a weedless presentation. Nice weedless chatter from Z-Man. It's got the swing head on there to give that blade a little bit more action, but really any weedless chatterbait, you're gonna wanna get up near those grasses because they're gonna be sitting there waiting to ambush bait. You can put a little plastic on the back there, like a Kitech or Z-Man paddle tail. But yeah, just look for grasses, look over in Blackwater, Upper Bay area, Upper Patapsco. Those have been some areas where I've heard people are catching snakeheads. And yeah, think that'll do it for the fishing report.
Yeah, definitely. Lots of stuff to do out there, even with rockfish closed.
Yeah, don't forget to sign up for the White Perch Open, and we'll see you guys next week.